Welcome to Crunch Times, the place to be to make the tangible connection between your business operation and its financial performance. Today, I want to talk to you about common business plan pitfalls and the steps you should take to avoid them. I could spend hours to talk about how to write a business plan, but it is impossible to avoid an outstanding success if we are not aware of the most common pitfalls that make business plans fail, so we can consciously avoid them. So, welcome to our today's video. There are so many statistics out there talking about the rate of a small business failure. But I want to say having a clear, defined, and well thought out business plan is a crucial first step to setting your business for long term success. Okay, what is a business plan, anyways? Business plan is a document containing the goals of a business, the method for attaining those goals, and the time frame for the achievement of the goals. So there are three keywords in this definition that I want you to remember: goals, methods for achieving those goals, and the time frame for achievement. So you might ask, why do you need a business plan? So you need a business plan to build a successful business. And in order to build a successful business, you need a roadmap and a GPS. You need to identify obstacles along the way and discover ways to overcome them. You also need to set milestones to measure your progress. And if you want to secure funding and apply for loans or grants or even private investors, this document is a must-have. Typically, there are two types of business plan. There is one that is called Lean Business Plan Canvas, and the other one which is the traditional or the formal business plan. The Lean Business Plan Canvas is just a snapshot of what your business is all about and how you are going to achieve your goals in a very summarized format. It's only one page of a document, and you have seen and heard of it on multiple videos and web pages, and I highly encourage you to go and take a look at it and really build your business plan canvas. And I'm going to talk to you about the steps that you need to take in a couple of minutes. The formal business plan, however, is an extensive document that has different sections, starting from your executive summary all the way to your market research, management and team structure, your business operations, and at the end, talking about your financials. In every section of the business plan, there are multiple subjects that you really need to talk about and develop the concepts of how your business is going to achieve its goals and really measure those performance, and then talk about the time frame as well. Just looking at the different section of the business plan and how much time and effort you need to put into this document, you might be asking, how do I even get started? I highly encourage you to go back to the Lean Business Plan Canvas and start with that one page of the document that it's a very high level snapshot of your business, where it is right now and where it wants to go. And every section of that Lean Business Plan Canvas is going to somehow be translated into that formal business plan. So the Lean Canvas is a great starting point if you just want to start. But as I mentioned at the beginning, today I'm not here to talk about how to write a business plan, because there are tons and tons of resources out there and videos that talks about how to achieve that. But today I'm here to talk about how can you actually capture the attention of a reader by avoiding critical business plan mistakes that so many of us make. Let's talk about the easiest business plan mistakes first. So the first one is the plan is poorly written and the presentation is really sloppy. So the best way to tackle this mistake is check your spelling, grammar, font, and every piece of that presentation needs to really be close to perfection, because you really want to give the reader that impression that you know what you are doing and you know your business very well and you are organized. I don't want you to be a teacher, but I want you to be organized in presenting your plan. And also ask someone to review and read your plan. It's always great to have second eyes on what you have so far. The next mistake is the plan is too detailed and includes too much information. The purpose of your plan is not to demonstrate the depth of your knowledge, but to focus on the key elements of your business. So really be clear and concise when you are writing the plan. You don't also want to write things that it's really short and very summarized, because you don't want to come across too summarized either. So there is a sweet spot in between not having a lot of summarized information and not having a too detailed of a plan. And the next one here is the plan is too vague. I guess if you don't talk about details and give information and you just write something that is too vague and it doesn't give your reader enough information about your business, that's the mistake that you make here. If you remember the previous slide when I showed you the different section of the business plan, I also structured the mistakes following the sections of the business plan. So starting from the top, we want to talk about the mistakes that you make in the section of business description and operation. So the first one is not defining the problem you want to solve. So you write your plans, you talk about your idea, you talk about your business, but you never mention what is the problem that you want to solve. Your business or your idea, it doesn't need to always be about solving a problem, but I need to understand what you are going to do anyways. The next one is not defining the target audience. So I have had so many clients that they have a business that they are running or a great idea that they are developing, but they still are not sure about who their target audience is. So make sure you are really clear about who you are going to target. If your target audience is segmented by age, geography, or their needs or wants, so make sure that you are really clear about that as well. The next mistake that I have seen multiple times is entrepreneurs and startups, they just get so excited about all the plans that they have, all the great ideas that they want to implement sometimes in the future in their business, but they are trying to do too much at once. So if your plan includes all your plans for near and distant future and you're putting all your visions into the plan, it shows to the readers that you are trying to really accomplish a lot of things in the short period of time, which gives the reader the impression that you are not focused on what you want to do. So try to avoid that as well. And the last mistake in the business description and operation is not knowing your distribution channels. What do I mean by that? I mean, you have a great idea or you have a business already, but you are not really clear about how you are going to reach your customer or reach your target audience. So it's not all about the marketing channel, but how you are going to reach out and grab their attention. So make sure you have the ability to articulate your strategy about how your product or service will reach your client. Now I want to move on to the marketing and sales strategy section of the business plan. It's really important to do SWOT analysis and talk about your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in the business plan. But I have seen so many mistakes that the clients have made when they talk about their SWOT. Okay, now what are they? The first one is the plan doesn't have enough research. So sometimes you just Google the idea that you want to develop, or you just do some research or read some articles, but you really need to understand your industry, your market, and your competition very well to show the reader that you really know what's going on around you. The next one that I have seen it so frequent is everybody claims that they have no competition. If you are looking at Google pages and you can't find similar ideas or similar companies on the first page or the second page of the Google, it doesn't mean that you have no competition. It means that your research hasn't been enough. Really try to do some in-depth research. And when you find competition or similar ideas or similar businesses, don't be afraid. In your business plan, try to identify ways that you can compete with them and explain why you are better. What are your competitive advantages? And definitely be very clear about those on your business plan. When you're talking about your SWOT analysis in your business plan, it's really important to talk about your weaknesses and also the threats that are in the market or in the industry. One mistake that many make is they claim that there is no risk involved in the venture that they are starting. And this is impossible. Everything that we do in our lives have risks, and claiming that there is no risk is really unreasonable. Try to really elaborate on the weaknesses that you have and the risks that are involved in developing your business or your idea. And try to give the readers the necessary steps that you are going to take to really minimize those risks. And the last one, when it comes to your SWOT analysis, is hiding your weaknesses. It's really hard for everybody to admit that they have weaknesses. We all understand that. But when it comes to business, it's really important to show and address all the weaknesses that is going to maybe put your company or your idea at risk, and give the reader again the necessary steps that you are going to take and the strategy that you have to overcome those weaknesses. For example, if you are a technical co-founder and you are not really good with numbers, try to elaborate on that and maybe in the plan say you are planning to bring on a new co-founder that he or she is really strong in terms of financials and accounting. So that's the way that you can elaborate how you are going to overcome your weaknesses. And the last but not least is talking about your financial. This is the part that I really love because I loved crunching the numbers and really analyzing them. So in your financial section, you need to talk about four key subjects. One is your startup costs, your sales forecast, the funding request that you have, and your cash flow projections. It's also good to include your income statement as well. So for you to come up with all these numbers, you need to make some assumptions. But there are mistakes that all of us make when it comes to the financial section of the business plan. Let's see what they are. The first one is there is no clear statement on how you will generate revenue. When I read business plans, I really love how the writer or the idea owner has talked about the plan, the idea, and all of us get so excited about the plans that we have and the vision that we have for the idea. But then we forget to talk about how are we going to make money? Is this from selling our products? Are we going to charge our customers a monthly membership? So it's really important to showcase how you are going to make money. The next one is making unrealistic financial projections. If you remember, I said you definitely need to make some assumptions to come up with those numbers. But be careful not to be overly optimistic. As entrepreneurs, we are all optimistic about the future of our idea and the future of our business and also the future of the planet. But we need to be careful not to come across as someone that is overly optimistic. And when we are overly optimistic, we translate all those optimistic approaches in our financials as well. So, and if you are just giving some numbers that are not reasonable, the reader is going to understand that you have been really not careful with your assumptions. On the flip side of overly optimistic sales forecast, there is also underestimating the costs. So try to figure out how much money you need to start and operate your business and make educated and reasonable guesses. So think about going to a grocery store and you always have a limited, and you also think you are only going to spend $100, but then you walk out of the grocery store having to pay $500. So really understand your cost and avoid underestimating them. And the last common mistake when it comes to your financial is losing focus on the cash flow. Many investors are now used to seeing that ideas and businesses at the beginning are cash flow negative. It means that they are not generating cash at the beginning. So if you are showing the reader that your business is generating cash flow right from the start, is going to raise some questions. And also make sure that you are really looking at the cash flow in a very optimistic but realistic way as well. I know it's very tricky to put all these concepts together, but try to really be reasonable. If you remember, one of the reasons that you need a business plan, I mentioned this at the beginning, is you are applying to get funding or to attract investors. So one mistake that a lot of us make is we write the business plan and we set it aside after we are approved for the funding. And that's a huge mistake that we all make. We need to treat the business plan as a live document and as a GPS for your business. Try to review your business plan after 6 months, after a year, and try to modify it as you go and have it as a guiding tool. So let's talk about the mistakes that you make on the funding side of the business plan. So the funding amount that you are asking for is not supported by the financial statements. What do I mean by that? For example, you are asking the financial institution or the investor to give you $100,000 of funding, but that $100,000 is not supported by any of the financial statements that you presented. For example, your startup costs are way lower than $100,000. Like, let's say you only need $30,000 to start, and your working capital that you are showing on your financial statement is only $50,000. So you are showing that you need $80,000, but you're asking for $100,000. So those numbers really need to be consistent. The next mistake here is the funding that you're asking for primarily goes to your first year salary. If you are a banker or you are an investor, you also prefer, if you are lending money to someone, that money is used to generate income or to be used in activities that will generate value for the customer and for you as well as the lender. So try to showcase how you are going to use the funding that you are receiving, and if it's going towards their marketing plan, towards building your website, and then avoid showing that they are going towards the salaries. And the last mistake is the plan lacks to articulate how the funding is going to be utilized. I guess I mentioned it in the previous mistake, but really try to be articulate about how you are going to utilize the money and put it towards the activities that generates value. And don't forget, we are here to help you. We have 3 streams of business plan services that we offer startups and entrepreneurs. So we can review the plan for you and give you a lot of constructive feedback for you to take away, go and modify it, and then we will review it again and finalize it for you. We can take care of the financial side of the business plan if you don't want to deal with the numbers, but you feel free to write the rest yourself. Or you can leave the entire business plan to us. Our passion is to make a bigger impact and make a difference in every entrepreneur's lives. And I know, and I have seen it firsthand, that the journey from idea to execution can get unpredictable and overwhelming. And one of the biggest steps to overcome those is to have a solid business plan. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you in the next video.